Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes. And yes, it's Miss Astrology Day.
Hi.
Hi, welcome back. How are
Thank you.
you?
I'm great. It's Virgo season. We're here.
Well, we had to delay things a week because we like to have you on that third Thursday of the
Thursday.
month, but you had a family uh, engagement, and so
Yeah.
it's great to see you, and
You
things are
too.
good as we start Virgo season.
I was thinking the other day, I think it's Virgo's a sign of routine. And don't you just love how we're like, okay, back to school, get
Right.
back to it, back to the
Yeah.
routine right in the beginning of Virgo season, right when it starts. So we need it.
Yeah, and so what does that mean? I mean, we're going to talk about Virgo season, and
Hmm.
people who have seen the newsletter know what that means, and they've seen you write about it. But overall, as we are starting this out now, what does that look like? What does that mean to you?
Well, earth signs always follow fire signs because
Hmm.
fire brings so much passion and fun and excitement. And earth sign says, okay, let's get back together. Now I know you're excited. What are we going to do with that? How are we going to be practical? How are we going to be resourceful? And we need to clean up this mess. It's like Virgo's like,
Whatever you all did back in August, we got to do some
right, let's
straightening
clean it
up.
up. And the same thing happens when people with their New Year's resolutions after you done ate it all and spent it all in Sagittarius season. Now here comes Capricorn, like, well, okay, now let's clean it up.
Right.
So it's just the cycle. So now we're settling back in. We've had a great summer, and now it's time to move on with our routines and all those kind of things.
So, did you have a good summer?
I had a great Leo season. Let me just say that.
Okay.
I could
Okay.
have skipped Cancer season.
Is
But
that normal, or is that
for
the rule,
me,
or just
well, I mean, I have so much fire energy. My chart is
Mhm.
so much fire that when it's water season, I'm just like, this is not fun.
You feel a little washed over,
I do. I
somebody
definitely do.
somebody's throwing water on your fire.
Absolutely. Every time. And my sister's a Cancer. I told her that one time that she puts water on my fire and she got really mad. Then she started boiling. I was like, oopsie.
I told you.
Exactly.
Well, we're going to talk about things going on in Virgo season, but there's so much going on,
Absolutely.
and in trying to put the show together, I try to look at things from a Virgo perspective in terms of celebrities that we might talk about and
Hmm.
events, but the events itself, and I tell you. And we'll talk about this in the What You Need to Know newsletter as well as trending topics. What you have said about Donald Trump just continues to
I'm
bear
telling.
fruit. It just,
No, it's so crazy.
it really is.
Like the feds invaded his house, and then they're still like, well. I mean, we're just taking back what he took from us. It's no big deal. We just had to forcefully take it.
And
And it's
and
like,
and okay, we had to go in there, 3 times and get stuff, but
no
this last
trouble.
one, I think we're good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I hate to say it. This is why I love astrology because it allows me to take like my emotions out of it and to just say, I mean, that's just the way the stars were set up for him, whether I like it or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It blows the mind,
Yes.
and even when other people who are not of his sign or under his birth
Hmm.
sign, and they're trying their hardest to get things done and to do stuff, and he's
Right.
just and it's just like water off a duck's back.
Absolutely. He's
You
just
know,
cruising through this thing.
it won't stick. It
It
won't
won't
stick at
stick.
all.
It just won't.
I swear.
So
What are we gonna do? All right. So, Miss Astrology, before we start, remind people how they can get in touch with you, and we'll do this
well,
throughout the
I'm Miss
show.
Astrology all over Instagram and cosmically lit, lit.com is the website. So, and all my social media is Miss Astrology. It's MS Astrology.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Cool. Well, we are glad to have you back, and I hope that Virgos will take heed this day,
Yes.
and as we continue to talk about what's going on in the Virgo season, which is it's quite interesting to me. I think because I'm not on the cusp, but I'm real close
Right.
to Virgo,
Yes.
and
And I
so
think that you have planets in Virgo. So I think
yeah.
that your Mercury is there, especially with you being on television and doing this daily news show. That's big Virgo energy. So,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. There you go. There you
Hmm.
go.
Yeah.
All right. So let us move to the What You Need to Know newsletter. This is our daily newsletter that we prepare for you every Monday through Friday. It is absolutely free. The subscription is. Please go to sybilwilkes.com to sign up. The subscription doesn't cost you a thing. And what we do is give you information that really affects us as a community of African Americans, not only with our news stories, but our health and living, as well as a little known Black history fact, and on and on and on. And of course, we leave you with our daily inspiration as we do here. So please check us out, and we'd love to have you.
Can I say one thing I love about the newsletter is
of course
the different perspectives of the people that are writing. And it's like there's some young people that are contributing to the newsletter. Yep. There's some, bigger names that are contributing. There's some professionals that are in the health industry or in the astrology business. So you get this wide range of input. I like it. I like it a lot.
We appreciate that, and that is a dedicated effort. We have young people who are serving us as writers, and those who are out there on the front line in the social justice fight, as well as the LGBTQ plus fight, and giving a different perspective from a young Black male perspective in terms of politics and things like that. So we appreciate that, and we will continue to improve and to expand the perspective as well. So let's talk about this big news that happened. It was announced on earlier this week that the president has announced the student debt relief program.
I told y'all.
You called it.
I called it. It's just Jupiter is blessing us. And as Jupiter retrogrades, he had to rethink that, like, trying to put it on hold. I think that it probably won't fully go into effect where we see it like being wiped out and all that stuff until like that November timeline, that November, December that I said about, but I knew it was coming. So yay, kudos. I'm so happy about that for everybody.
I am very glad. It could have come a little sooner for some of us, but
don't be like that, Sybil.
No, I'm not hating, because there are enough people who are hating, right?
My God.
There are enough people out there who say, well, we didn't have to do it. We had to pay ours, or we chose not to go to an expensive school so that we didn't have to pay all these bills and things like that. And I'm like, that's just the luck of the draw.
Right. Good for you.
But we are in a time where it has never cost this much to go to school.
Absolutely.
It's never taken this much of a toll on people's lives and their livelihoods and their economic stability as it has now.
Absolutely. I can't tell you how many first-time home buyers that I was not able to help in my real estate days because of their student loan debt.
Yeah.
And how expensive it was. And even if it was deferred, the lenders would still want to take 5% of their balance as a monthly payment. And then there it goes. It just says you can't afford a house. So this opens up so much more. And I knew it was coming. I'm just so glad it's here.
Well, it is here. And as the president has been, and people have been working on him for a very long time, he has always said that he wanted to do the $10,000 cancellation of debt. And people were pushing on him even before the campaign and things like that, saying, how about we do $50,000, which is what some said. How about we eliminate the student debt altogether? And he's like, no, we can't do that. But here's what I'm willing to do. And on top of that first $10,000 of federal student loans, people like us who had Pell Grants, another $10,000, right? Yeah. And it's going to begin as quickly as possible, as well as the continuation of the deferment that goes until the end of the year. So these things are really helping people to get kind of their ducks in a row, their financial dollars in a row, if you will, and to make these changes. But as we said, they're not loving this on the other side of the aisle.
They'll be all right.
well, I wonder if they will be, and if this will be something that they're going to use as something for the November elections, because this is going to hopefully, this will generate a lot of support for one party over another in terms of not falling for what has happened in the past, which means that the party that is not in power will gain in the House and the Senate. And it looks pretty good for the Democrats. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but it's looking good right now. We can't take it for granted that the Democrats are going to do well.
Right.
What do
Yeah,
you what do you think?
I would look, for me, it's a little bit more of looking at individual charts.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that what we're going to see as the elections come in, then Jupiter is still going to be retrograde. And by that time, it'll be back into Pisces. So as long as that we're not being delusional in the sense that, oh, other people are voting, other people are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Like, no, no, no. Pisces is very dreamy, and that's where Jupiter, this is the planet that has given us this blessing and is trying to bless us. But once Jupiter gets there, it can get very dreamy. The opposite of Pisces is Virgo. Like, no, no, no.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do?
Right.
Did you check off your list? Did you do what you're supposed to do? So we can't get caught up in the, oh, good, they did it. Oh no, other people. Oh, look at all of them voting. No, you can jump on that line and vote too. Yeah.
Right. And maybe as we get closer to November 8th, because here's the question I have for you is it not only the birth chart of the people who are perhaps running or who will be affected by this, but is it also the date of the election? Does that make a
date will
difference?
absolutely matter as well. And then that date as well as the United States birthday.
Got it.
All of that kind of comes to play. Anything with a date has a birth chart or a natal chart attached to it. So I would look at kind of all of those things.
So maybe the next month when you come back and we can get a clearer view and talk about some of these, and especially some of these candidates, that because it's going to be an exciting time if it does happen, especially for Black women. If you look at Stacey Abrams, if you look at Val Demings, if you look at Sherry Beasley in North Carolina, and Stacey could be, I don't want to call her Stacey, Ms. Abrams could become the first Black female governor of a state. And with Val Demings and Sherry Beasley, we could have 2 Black women in the United States Senate. And we've only had 2.
Right. So we could double up.
Yeah.
I already know Stacey Abrams' chart, and I do think that as long as she can really stay with the stamina, because she's a Sagittarius with a Gemini moon, that's energy that can like wear out quickly and be like, I'm over it, I'm ready to move on. And then Mars is now in Gemini and will be there through all of next year. And in October, though, it starts to go retrograde. So as long as she is not trying to overdo it, overexerting herself to the point to where she's, could potentially actually hurt herself if she's not getting enough rest and those kind of things. I think that she'll actually do very well. She's a Sagittarius. We just happen to be really, once we learn our lessons, and some of us don't even got to learn our lessons just to be a very fortunate sign, like a really lucky sign.
A lucky sign. That's interesting. Okay. And so we're also going to look at some of these other folks as we get closer, because we are less than 11 weeks away now.
Wow.
And it's and time, as you know, it's moving so quickly.
Oh
yeah. But to talk about this, the debt relief, the student debt relief, the Secretary of Education, Miguel Cardona, says that this equates to people who are going to be affected, 43 million Americans who can get relief, and half of those will have their student debt wiped out entirely.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that great?
It is great and it's beautiful. And I wish the people on the other side of the aisle would then see long-term how these people, this is middle class. That's who always stimulates our economy.
Yep.
That's who, the middle class is what brings us out of recession. These are people that can potentially start those small businesses that are going to get us back moving. Like, this is a beautiful thing. It's a really good thing.
That is, it's so awesome. And I'm very excited. And I think that we're going to see a lot of progress come November.
Yes.
So let me also talk about this story that Cameron Riley has written for the newsletter. Women continue to out-register and outvote men. And this is outpacing them on both sides of it. And every chance we get, we ask people, are you registered and are you planning to vote, or have you voted in the primary? And give people a link to to where they can go to vote, thanks to our partnership with organizations like Black Voters Matter. And so in this particular story, Cameron talks about this analysis by a Democratic political data services firm found that women are out-registering men by significant margins in states where reproductive rights are in danger. Now, this obviously is the season in which we're talking about this, because a lot of trigger laws have gone into effect today in a number of states. The trigger laws meaning that they were just waiting for a period of time after the Supreme Court decision, and they were able to even to further reduce a woman's rights, reproductive rights. And so Tennessee is one, and of course the great state of Texas. And we talk about that in the next day's newsletter, but it is what they did in Kansas was just
absolutely
so empowering and so
Yep.
and encouraging.
And they're being a great example, Kansas. And I've been saying it since my very first visit on this show. It is all about the women, the Black women, brown women. As long as you use your voice and you take positive action, we are the ones that are making things happen right now. And, they're scrambling at this point on a supreme level to try to hush us and stop us as much as they can. But they're still seeing that we got this. We're going to rise up and we're going to get I actually believe that it's hard for me to say like overall, but this is not going to be as, right now it's impactful, but a lot of these states are going to overturn these new laws that have gone into effect and these, reproductive bans that they've created.
Right.
It's not going to stick.
We're
not going to let it.
but and that's the point, getting people involved and running for these offices that are going to be able to get enough people in the state legislature to overturn this, to get enough people in the governor's seat to overturn this. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take us to do that.
Yep. But I do believe that it's going to happen as long as us women are still, and we are, it's like, we're just ignited at this point. We're just on fire. There's no stopping us. So it's like, men, I've been telling men, they get mad at me when I say this, but if you really want to be successful during these times, you're going to have to support and get behind a Black woman, most specifically a Black woman that you trust and that you believe in, that is smart. Like, it's just our time.
Yeah, get with us or step back.
Get rolled over. Yeah, we're out of here. We got each other. We're not even worried about y'all anymore. And I don't mean that.
I was going to say, there's some things we kind of need them for.
We do kind of sometimes.
Okay. To change light bulbs and things like that. Sure. Let me ask you, because every day we do a COVID update in the newsletter. How do you think we're doing in the fight? Is there anything you can see or can feel about this? Because we're still looking at a small percentage of children, and I'm talking babies, 6 months to 4 years of age, who have been vaccinated still.
Wow.
And they're going out to daycare and into kindergarten classrooms and things like that. Still a small, but they are finding that the Pfizer COVID vaccine is 73% effective in children under the age of 5. That's our story in the What You Need to Know newsletter.
Wow. I just have seen all the restrictions, and I remember saying this before, just kind of dwindle when it came to COVID. And I think that we're going to have more of that. The issue is right now, it's Virgo season. Virgo is the sign of health and wellness and hygiene and hospitalizations. And so if people are not practicing good hygiene, like even more so now, like Virgo is literally represented by the Virgin.
Right. That's pretty clean.
It's pretty clean, right? And so it's really important that we're very clean and we're very healthy, that we're watching what we eat. Virgo rules the bowels. This is a great time for detoxing and even like clearing out clutter. Those are the things that are going to hold viruses. And as long as we're cleaning that up, I think that we'll still continue to see the vaccines be effective and the numbers kind of continuing to decline, the restrictions to be lifted. However, we could see these bleeps in places that aren't sanitizing properly.
Right.
So,
and just as we close out quickly, is this affected, or does this affect the season, affect this uprise in monkeypox cases?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Virgo season does. Absolutely. And I also think with Mars and Gemini, that's going to do the same thing. Gemini rules the shoulders, the arms, and the hands. And so this is that potential to just see more of that all over people's arms.
And you do see that. Yeah, absolutely.
So this is the time for that. The best thing that we can do as an individual, and even more so to impact the collective, is practice the purest level of hygiene possible. So Yeah, just be ready to disinfect as much as possible.
The way we did when
in the very beginning, when it first
yeah,
started. It's time to
yeah.
get back to that right now. And then when you think about things shutting down was in Pisces season when COVID first started. That's the opposite of Virgo. So now we're
Got
on
it.
that other side, like Virgo's back around, like, but did you clean up?
Oh,
Did you
okay.
wash your hands? Are
Did
you
you
still
wash your
washing your
nasty
hands?
hands? Right, right,
Are you
right.
still,
Yeah.
and I would even say, because Virgo and Gemini both have influence of the respiratory system, don't be afraid to wear a mask. Look at the benefits of wearing a mask. You can talk to yourself without people knowing on the
Right,
other
right, right,
side,
right, right.
so wear your mask as well.
I'm with you on that. I still wear my mask, and I
Mhm.
just went online to buy some new ones.
Right.
So
Exactly.
absolutely. All right. Thank you for that and for the discussion about what's going on in our newsletter. Let us now move to our question of the day. What's really going on? It's Virgo season, and Ms. Astrology is here. And we do want to talk about, first of all, just for you to give us, as you have, give us that general overall picture of what Virgo season means.
Well, first, happy birthday, Virgos. Just remembering that this is more of like a cleanup time. Like, we've had our summer, we've had our fun, we've probably, really overdone it, maybe been exuberant on some things like a Leo, and that's fine. That's part of the chart for a reason. But now it's time to get back to the routines.
You said the routine and the regiment.
Get back to the regimen, get back to the routine. It's time to start preparing for autumn, for the fall is coming. And so that's what these mutable signs do. Say, okay, it's not going to be summer much longer. Let me go ahead and get some things together, get my things in order, clean up, get back to the routines and the rituals. That's going to be the most important thing, so that you don't get caught off in the fall.
Right.
So also, Virgo is a very anxious sign. It can be so critical that it makes me want to remind people, don't be so self-critical, for one. And I remember one of the biggest takeaways from How to Win Friends and Influence People was the number one way to create an enemy is to give an unwanted opinion, or an unasked for opinion. And Mars is in Gemini, which loves to run its mouth, has a lot of sarcasm, a lot of things to say. Mars likes to fight, but then now the sun is also in Virgo, and Mercury is about to retrograde back into Virgo. So watch your mouth is going to be a theme for Virgo season. Watch how you talk to each other. Watch how you perceive and receive people's words. Like, let people make it. Like, if you are listening to this and you know that I'm saying watch your mouth, but they don't know that, then let them get away with it.
I'm laughing because I am very sensitive to tones and people's tones. And my best friend and I go through this every day. And so, because what her tone says to me is that there's something wrong, or perhaps there's a problem with me. And so, that's the self-critical part of me. And so I wrote down, watch your mouth, because it now it's kind of laughable,
right?
Between us. I think it's laughable.
At least you're trying to laugh it off.
Yeah.
You're probably laughing it off in Leo season, when we're all laughing a little more.
Yeah. But that is key. Watch your mouth, what you say to people, and everything will
and
be.
Even how you receive what people say. Like, just be like, okay, well, she didn't mean that.
Right.
Like, she didn't mean to say it like that. Also, Virgo does.
Her tone didn't mean that.
Let me just turn her on. Let me put her on mute and read her words. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's your
little protector.
I like it. Thank
you. Another thing I will say about Virgo season, specifically with Mars and Gemini, is this is a potential, I think, for two other things. One is auto accidents, like big time, because both Virgo, which the sun is in and Mercury will be retrograding in, and Gemini rule that day-to-day routines, how you get around, how you move. And so Mercury is going to be retrograde, Mars is going to be retrograde soon. And so this is really the potential for auto accidents, like kind of ones that you're shocked about. So really being careful with your car, and road rage. Like, don't let people that are really road raging get to you. Just don't shoot the finger and think you're going to keep going, because they're going to take it the wrong way.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Keep your eyes forward. Just remember your task. Remember what you're doing. The other thing that I think that we'll see that will be kind of ignited during Virgo season, but I really think the rest of the year, is mental health, because Virgo is a sign that is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is our mind, our thoughts, our mental health. And then we have Mars in Gemini, which is another sign that's ruled by Mercury, which again is mental health, your nervous system. And so really taking care of yourself mentally at this time. In tarot, the hermit card is Virgo's card. And it's a hermit crab. This is like, just go within yourself, self-care, that self-cleansing, that self-hygiene, cleansing your mind, making sure that the things that you're listening to and that you're allowing to go into your mind are calming and soothing and that kind of thing. This is a great time to detox, detox teas, anything like that. And not just your body, like clean some stuff out your drawers, your room, your house, like your day-to-day stuff. So I think those are the two things to be really mindful of. Well, three, really watch your mouth, watch the road rage, and then just really mental health should be a priority.
And watch out for yourself.
Watch out for yourself. And, you know, just, but Virgo is the sign of wellness to other people, of service to other people. So they really want to share their knowledge, help, especially because they think they are the ones that can do it perfectly.
Hello, Chica.
I can do it. Or, you know, let people ask you for your help, specifically if you're a Virgo. Let people ask you for your opinion. Otherwise, just keep all of that to yourself, making sure you're nourishing your own mind.
I do want to take time to wish a happy birthday to our Virgo Chica, August 26th. So, and it is the 26th, not the 27th. So, I do want to
take notes.
Yeah, right. So, that is a good overall picture. Are there some Virgos that you've been keeping an eye on? Some that, you know, that are maybe in the news that you want to?
Yeah, they're kind of my least favorite sign. So no.
Wow. How interesting is that? Why is that?
Well, Virgo makes a harsh aspect to Sagittarius, but I think the other thing is when I was born, Saturn, which is the planet of no and limits and discipline, was in Virgo. And so I get a lot of, like, I don't like to hear no anyways. And so it just, and I'm not saying that necessarily Virgo tells me no, but my dad was a Virgo too. I love that man to death, but we had a difficult relationship.
We could also say that.
So I like, as far as celebrities and that kind of thing go, I hadn't really looked. I looked at some of that we talked about today, or that were in the news that you sent me, to kind of get some input on them. But yeah.
How about, okay, so let's start with a woman who is, you know, her own queen of music and lifestyle and everything else, and with a new music out, Beyonce.
And she's a Virgo with the Scorpio moon. So I actually would not be surprised if some of the things that are going on in Beyonce's home life are kind of brought up. Somebody leaks information. I'm saying this because the South Node is in Scorpio, and that kind of even takes me back to like the George Foreman thing that we'll talk about later. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody like gossips or starts talking about some of how she is at home, or some of the things from her home life. And, you know, Queen Bee don't like that. Scorpio moons like to be extremely private. So that may come out from her. But even though I don't really care for Virgos, I appreciate Beyonce. She is a magnificent entertainer, and she works really, really hard. And I'm hoping that she's really taking care of herself, because I know that she is a perfectionist. And maybe even don't listen to what, if anyone is criticizing her album. I haven't really heard many do that, but don't even worry about that, Queen Bee. Go on a yacht somewhere.
Yeah, right. Go enjoy yourself and your success.
Right.
The criticism is that I've heard is that people have criticized the use of a word that they didn't like, and so but that was, you know, that goes back to Lizzo as well as Beyonce, and everybody's, you know, criticizing that. But as far as that, talk about my friend Tyler Perry. He is he's a one-man media machine, and this is his season. But Tyler is involved not only in television and doing stage plays and things like that, but he's a really great humanitarian too.
One thing I would love to say to Tyler Perry, and I'm gonna look at his whole birth chart, and that one thing that I noticed about him, though, I would like for him to allow people to help him more. And this is just goes back to that Virgo mentality that I can do it perfectly. I know what to do. I'm smart enough. And you are a very smart sign.
Yeah.
But as a mutable sign, you really learn best from other people and just being involved with other people. So I just kind of want to, like, if he's listening, I love you, Tyler Perry, but All the Queen's Men season 2 was not as good as season 1. I just feel like we need more writers. We need to collaborate with.
Oh my God, that is so funny. And Tyler, my friend, that's Ms. Astrology's opinion. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Okay. So perhaps be a little bit more collaborative.
Yes. And it's funny because as I look at his chart, I think what it is, he has Venus and Leo. So he's just so proud of what he does. And then his Virgo placements make him feel like, well, I mean, I did a great job. It's perfect. What are you talking about? But he also has a Libra moon. So that moon has a hard time allowing other people. It's like, if I let you in, you may throw my balance off. You may hurt me. But on a work level, he would do best to allow other people to come in. Another thing I would love to say about Libra moons, I have yet to meet one person that has a Libra moon that doesn't have a whole bunch of money or that doesn't attract people with a whole bunch of money. Absolutely. Wow. I'm like, if I could change one part of my chart.
Okay.
I'd have a Libra moon.
I'd be grabbing that Libra moon, man. Isn't that the truth?
So he just was destined to have a lot of money.
That's interesting.
Good for him.
A lady who has been in the news, in and out of the news this year, especially because of what happened between her husband and comedian Chris Rock, talking about Jada Pinkett Smith. We slowly have seen her come out of, her cocoon, if you will, as a result of what happened at the Oscars. So what do you see for Jada?
I saw something today that said her and Will, that they're getting a divorce.
That's like every month. I
don't believe that. Like, I just don't believe that. I listened to Will Smith's entire book, and there's just nothing that's going to make me believe that they're getting a divorce. Not only is she a Virgo sun, but she's also a Virgo moon. And so this is somebody, like, I know that we're hard on Jada, but she is hard on herself too. Like, this is one thing that if we just kind of leave her alone, hopefully during this season, she will do as much self-care as possible, stay as within herself. She has Venus in Libra. So, and Will's a Libra. This may be a really good time. And Will has that Scorpio moon for them to just do something, just them, like just you two. Get on your yacht and cruise around the world or something like that. Reconnect, rebond with each other, and allow him, because he's a Libra, he's going to pour over the compliments and shower her with gifts. Girl, go let him do all those things for you and go and enjoy that. She's just probably a little too picky on herself to allow that to happen.
Wow.
But I also just think that that's probably what she really needs during this time.
That's interesting. Now, I asked you a question in the show prep, and I don't even know if this makes any sense.
It does.
It does. Okay.
It does.
All right. So we did the story about Kobe Bryant's widow, Vanessa, getting the settle, or actually the jury awarded her $16 million in the photos of the crash scene that took her husband and her daughter. And so Kobe, born under the sign of Virgo, but he's no longer with us. Does that affect this particular, something like this judgment?
For me, it's more about Vanessa.
Okay.
It's not, this is what she's a Taurus, and the North Node is in Taurus, and this put the spotlight on her. When in astrology, the North Node is a spotlight, like, okay, what you gonna do? And so with this being her sun sign, this is like, what are you so passionate about? Whatever it is you're gonna do, it's gonna be highlighted. So this is also why her and Kobe were so close, because although he was a Virgo, he had a Taurus moon. And when one person's moon is the same as the other person's sun sign, it's just a match. And so I think they were crazy in love with each other, and she's still going through a whole lot, but this was more of Vanessa's chart being rewarded than Kobe's. And I think that, does it not affect you anymore? Just kind of depends, not the personal planet. So I would say not that he's a Virgo sun. It doesn't have anything to do with that. But maybe, I haven't looked at his chart recently, but maybe some of his generational planets. His bigger planets are in
Mhm.
Taurus or in things that kind of go on. But for me, it's like his flame is kind of gone. And so
Mm.
this is more of Vanessa's
This
flame
is
or
her time.
Vanessa's chart that's
Mhm.
getting all this recognition and acknowledgement. Yeah.
I know that they're not here, but I was just wondering about the effect of the
Yeah.
sun and the planets and all of that
Right.
on his
Right.
his legacy, I
Right,
guess.
right. But he's
Um,
built a nice one. And then
yeah.
he's got that Taurus moon. So which Taurus is a very stubborn, solid sign. So whatever
Mhm.
he's built is just gonna last. And so he's kind of handed the torch to her Taurus sun. And so now, so in a sense, yes, but only because they were so astrologically connected.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, lastly, want you to remind people one more time how we can get in touch with you and follow you.
I'm MS Astrology on all platforms and then cosmicallylit.com.
Awesome.
Yes.
Miss Astrology is here with us every month to talk about the various signs, and we are talking about Virgo. So, let us now move on to what is trending. And we kind of referenced this a little bit regarding some of the stories that we're going to talk about. But this is new technology and the way that new technology and politics work together is fascinating to me.
Right.
With the climate change bill that recently was passed, or part of the big bill that the president passed, now the state of California has now ordered that they say that they will not allow any more gas-powered cars to be sold in that state beginning in 2035.
35. That is major.
No, it's huge,
It's
right?
huge. It is huge, but it's also Saturn and Aquarius, where remember, Saturn is the planet that says no, right?
Mhm.
Aquarius is very innovative, it's very forward thinking. And so it's like, and it rules the people, like the humanity, the collective. And so California is literally telling humanity, no. You're going to have to find a more innovative way to do things.
Yeah.
Like you're going to get that old way. Saturn is old. It's like Father Time. It's the patriarchy. It's when you think of words like cold and dark and hard, that's all Saturn. And so Saturn's like all that cold, dark, hard stuff that y'all did. We're not doing that anymore. You better figure it out. And California will figure it out, I think. And I don't think it's going to stop there. I think a lot of other states are going to pick up this same thing, I think a lot of us overall are going to move more to solar power and wind powered. And it's like, why not?
Right. I mean, and those of us that live in sunshine states, if
Right.
you will,
Right.
it really doesn't make any sense not to.
Right.
Right. And California is leading the way. And part of the news that came out of this is that it's starting with California, but it's going to be spreading across the country, as you say, as an innovative state. And so a number of states, including New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania, have already adapted their current vehicle standards and their previous clean car rules. And as goes California, will go the country, especially in respect to this.
Right. Well, and also remember, this 4th of July was the United States' Pluto return. So and this is the first time ever. It only happens every 250 something years. So humans don't ever see it. So yeah. Lots of changes coming for the United States, lots of changes across for the people. And so this is time for us to really think forward and futuristic and how we can be as innovative as possible. So I'm here for it.
Well, I drive a hybrid.
Okay.
I'm not down for the full electric vehicle yet, because it has to progress a little bit more for me to go all electric.
We're a little older. We're a little more Saturn. Like, whoa.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna go halfway with you. I'm hybrid, okay, but going all electric is still a bit much for me, and I'm gonna have to see more power coming from the plug-in, so that I can go. I don't have to worry about getting to 75 miles and gotta find a place to plug in. Yeah,
but they're gonna the places to plug in for electricity is gonna be just as popular as the places that we stop and get gas.
Right.
What I remind people all the time is you could have never convinced my mom that there'd be a day that she would not write a check.
Right.
There would be a day that she would actually get an email that told her what her bank balance was. But now, here we are.
Yeah.
My kids, I remember my kids seeing a checkbook one time. They're like, what is that?
What is that?
What are you doing with that?
or there's so many other things.
Right.
Why are you writing that out?
Right.
Just
I told my son, give me that notebook. And it was like a tablet. And he was like, what? I was like, Dad. He was like, that's a notebook? He's thinking like an iPad.
Right. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So it's happening. Be open to it. It's actually what the cosmos are supporting. And the planets that are involved with this, we can't stop it.
Right.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. And as you say, it's that time in the countries.
Right.
System.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So this came out this morning. Dennis Rodman has announced that he will not be getting involved in the Brittany Griner case. After all, he has reportedly decided not to travel to Russia, even though he says he had permission. The United States government, the State Department, has advised him against going to Russia to bring Brittany Griner home.
And I get it because he has Venus in Aries. And so he's really just trying to help her out. Brittany is a Libra. And so he's really just trying to help her out as another athlete. Aries rules athletes in the military and that kind of thing. And he sees the value that he can bring. Venus is also relationships and relating. So he really does believe that he can. Unfortunately, I just don't see Brittany coming home anytime soon. I said this.
You said it before.
I said it before. I would love to see another way out of this. I don't know that it's going to be another athlete. And for me, with Chiron in Aries, which is the wounds of the professional athletes, that transit is actually like 6 more years.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And so this is across from her sun sign. And so and I'm typically an extremely optimistic person.
Of course.
But I just don't really see it for Brittany Griner, her coming home anytime soon. And if she does, it is probably going to be like a military exchange. I don't know it's going to be another athlete that does it, but it'll be part of like some military negotiations.
So that prisoner exchange
is more plausible than Dennis Rodman.
Right.
Like coming in to do that. Like that's all cool and everything. But if there's something where it's like military or those kind of things where the military is involved or police force are involved or something like that, that is better able to bring the balance of the scales, then I think Dennis Rodman would.
Well, that does my heart better than in 6 years. But I'm the conversation has been all along regarding this prisoner swap. So the drug cartel killing guy that is held in the United States, Russia wants him, and in order to get him, they perhaps Brittany and Paul Whelan, who is a military man, a veteran, getting involved there.
So and then that would be us like healing an athlete and a military personnel, which Aries rules both of those. So I think and I do also think that Russia would like to see us stop giving guns because Aries rules guns also and military weapons. And that might be something they want us to negotiate as well. That we would stop doing something like that. And that would be a way to bring Brittany home. I just don't see Rodman doing it or any other regular person.
Right. But he's friends with Putin and he's friends with all of the so-called leaders that we don't like. So I wasn't putting much into that either.
Right. I mean, that was cute. That was, but no.
As I like to say, that was something. Right. Let's talk about, this is something we talked a little bit about, and this is disturbing, and yet it's seeming to follow a pattern. George Foreman, the heavyweight champion, has been sued allegedly for sexually abusing 2 minors when he was in his 20s. So mind you, this took place like in the 60s and 70s.
Wow.
2 women claim that he sexually abused them when they were minors, like teens, like preteen. He was grooming them. Wow. And then sexually began pursuing them sexually when they were teenagers. And this is according to 2 lawsuits. In the documents, they were filed in LA. The plaintiffs 2 women say they initially met George Foreman through their fathers in the late 60s and early 70s. And one says in her suit, she first encountered him when she was about 8 years old. Her father was working with the boxer and claims that he began grooming her at an early age by taking her out for ice cream and allowing her to sit on his lap while he drove his car.
Oh, wow.
Another woman says she met him when she was around 9 years old through her father, who was George Foreman's longtime advisor. She claims it was 6 years after the meeting when he was 23 that he courted her and then would molest and sexually abuse her until she was 16.
I looked at his chart, and he has a south node in Scorpio. And this is like kind of what I said about Beyonce, like somebody talking about bringing up secrets of things that are happening at home. Well, the thing about this is Scorpio is an extremely sexual and extremely private and an extremely use sex as power type sign. Those are the negative parts. There are very positive parts of Scorpio as well.
Oh, yeah.
But but there are negative parts. And the south node is hidden secrets, things of the past, things that are going to come back up. And with it being in Scorpio, it does feel like, and the thing about it is the south node will be in a sign. It'll go back to the same sign every 18 years. So we're talking about, okay, it wasn't 18 years ago. Was it 36 years ago? Was it 52 years ago? Like those numbers. So then when we start to do the math, it's like, okay, well, maybe there was like a secret that's bringing itself back out now.
Right.
He's a Capricorn, so it makes sense that he would be the older person. His moon is in Gemini. Mars is now in Gemini. One thing that I would say to Mr. Foreman is the best thing you could probably do is just settle out of court. Don't drag this thing out, because this is going to be going to have a lot of things to say. This is going to be a really easy way for you to kind of get people to more people. And I'm not saying that there's more people, but sometimes people just join the party.
Yeah.
And so there's this, and with it being Gemini, this is more chatty people coming up with stories. Gemini is like a little slickster. They think they can talk their way into and out of situations. So I'm not saying I don't think that this is true. But the best thing that he could do is just hush them up and he's got Venus in Sagittarius. So it would literally go away for him as long as he doesn't try to take that Capricorn energy. Like, no, that's not how we're going to do it my way. We're not going to tarnish my reputation, because Capricorn is really big on their reputation. So it's just like, listen, just pay these people. You got plenty of money. Pay them people, have them sign an NDA, and let this all go away for everybody.
So let me ask you this. Is there and this might not be fair to ask you at this point, but is there any kind of sign alignment between Bill Cosby, Weinstein, even Deshaun Watson, where these numbers of women have, just
and Trey Songz too.
Yeah.
Yep. And we talked about them too. I know for Deshaun Watson and Trey Songz, but Trey Songz is a Sagittarius. Remember, I told you I think that he's going to pay people off and this is going to go away. And that's pretty much what happened to him. I believe that Deshaun Watson is a Sagittarius as well. And so it's that same thing. The thing about him being a Sagittarius is the nodes move backwards.
Right.
And so instead of it being in Libra, then Scorpio, it was in Sagittarius, then Scorpio. So all these things came up, but you're still a Sag, so you still have the potential to be lucky and to get away with it. But learn your lesson, Sag, because when you do get in trouble, it's going to end up being big trouble. Yeah, because we like to do things big.
Well, that's going to be interesting to see how this plays out with him. And I don't think it's over with Deshaun Watson either.
I don't think so either. But isn't it crazy how so many people just it's just kind of fizzled away, gone away. A lot of it's been dropped. So, but the South Node is in Scorpio. And so I would not be surprised to see for the next year or so more sexual abuse, sexual assault, or manipulation of sexual power to come to light.
Yeah. I don't know what this has to do. It has something to do with the stars, only because it is in the title. But the Star Trek legend, Nichelle Nichols, who died last month, is heading back to space, according to this story, along with several of her Enterprise crew mates, and part of an incredibly fitting mission, they say, that will put their remains into orbit. She as a part of her process, she had asked that she be cremated, and like others, they're going to take there's going to be a space journey, and in which they say the Launch Alliance's Vulcan Centaur mission will first deliver a robotic lunar loader which is a scout for the future moon landings. And then it will continue deeper into the solar system for the Star Trek tribute. And it will include the remains of the man who created Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry, as well as other actors, including James Doohan, who played Scotty on Star Trek. And it will also contain Nichelle Nichols' remains as Lieutenant Uhuru, and they will scatter their remains into the orbit.
They'll stay there. It makes me just say, is she an Aquarius? Because that's just like the weird thing that they would do. But weird is subjective, and I think people should be allowed to do whatever they want to do. It sounds absolutely crazy to me.
Yeah.
But I was in 5th grade, and I remember seeing that spaceship blow up on TV. So I don't really mess with space besides my observations from here.
Right. I get it.
So,
Okay. Well, that was just something I wanted to share with you. She's just always been a major figure as far as space.
I want to see her Aquarius. I know she's got Aquarius placement. She's got to either that or Gemini, because they could be kind of weird too. I love Geminis. I love all the signs.
You do.
In a certain order. Yeah.
All right, so that's what's trending, and let us move on. And as we close out, we'll talk a little bit about another. I believe he's a Virgo. Let's talk entertainment, and this is regarding Idris Elba. He is a Virgo. Okay, so he's out promoting his latest movie, Beast. But he says that it's lazy journalism for anyone to ask him again and again and again about those James Bond rumors.
Right.
In a recent appearance, he was in an interview with Jamel Hill, and he decided to clear the air once and for all. And since Daniel Craig was kicked out of the James Bond series, and a lot of speculation as to who would be the next one and what it would be like for the next franchise. And then, of course, Idris Elba, as an Englishman, a lot of folks say, well, it only makes sense. If you're going to really take it to the next level, you need a Black James Bond. And he is... God bless him. He took it, and he would come up with a different answer every time, and now he's tired of it.
Right. He's a Virgo.
Yeah.
He's like, do better. And he's got Mercury there. So I think that what he really wants, he just, not only does he feel like it's lazy, but he feels like it's subpar. And then he has a Leo moon. He's like, no, ask me things I can brag about, that I could be excited about. He's got passion in him, and then you ask him what's in his mind, which I get it. He's like, do better, like level up. That's the best you got. Like,
right. Come on.
Come on. Which I understand why he would feel like that. Now, there's some of us that would be just happy to talk about it all the time, but it's Virgo season, and we just left Leo season. So emotionally, he's excited about other things that he wants to brag about and share. And he's looking down on us as y'all journalists, not me, as peasants, like, do better.
Right.
That's the best you got.
That's all you got. Come on, give me something I can work with here.
Because he has things that he's proud of. He's got that Leo moon. He's got some creative things that he's done. Some ways he's been on display that he's really proud of. And if we're talking about what he's gonna do, he's like, but let's talk about what I did. I'm excited about what I've done. So he's a Leo moon. I love Leo moons. Yeah.
I gotta tell you though, I really like the idea. I would never ask.
Oh my God.
I would
never
obviously. But I've been warned. But I would love the idea of him being the next James Bond.
Who else would it be?
Come on. Well, Bridgerton guy, Renee Jean Page. Is that the really handsome guy from Bridgerton? He's he's been mentioned as the next James Bond, but I would really love to see
Idris. I think so too, because now then all I see is this guy is the Bridgerton guy.
Yeah, which wasn't a bad look.
Right. Go from that to James Bond. I think Idris is more prepared for it, and I think that it's something that as a Leo he would be extremely proud of. He would put his whole heart into it. I would love to see that also.
So just as we are wrapping up here, before I give us our daily inspiration, anything that we didn't touch on that you want to leave us with?
No, I think that's really it. Just a reminder to just take care of yourself and clean
Yeah.
out.
Clean up and clean up.
Clean up. And not just clean up, clean out. Because remembering that Virgo is a detoxing sign. So it's about getting rid of, throwing things away. If it's not any good for you, it's time to get rid of it. Also, watch your mouth and just remind other people to watch their mouth. And just, if they don't, let it go. Just don't even worry about it. Really good time to get your car tuned up. Check your maintenance, all those kind of things on your car as well.
Okay. All right. To our favorite Virgo there, Chicadilly, happy birthday. And let us also, as we close out today with Yogi's Jewel, today we want to tell you, always having to be right can be annoying and exhausting.
I feel like for Virgo, right?
It sounds like it was made for this, right? Doesn't it? Always having to be right can be annoying and exhausting.
And exhausting. And Virgo, as much as you're the sign of perfection, you're not always right.
Wow. Well, we're right to have you here, and we look forward to have you, everyone.
Absolutely.
And look forward to it. Have a wonderful Virgo season.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate it. Aloha.